What up, what up? Welcome back to the Sneaker History Podcast. My name's Nick Ingval. Got a slew of people with me today to talk about one of the most important shoes, arguably the most important shoe every year, the Air Jordan 1. So I got Rowett, Mike, Kenneth, Mr. Unloved Ones, and Robbie with me. So what's good, fellas? How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Glad to have everybody in the room.
No, we were talking about the One Blood remix where it had 30 people on the cut. Well, I feel like this is a podcast equivalent, so excited to
be here. Yep.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking we need to play anime reading rules. So Nick, Rowett, me, and kind of like read right to left, scroll back through. I'm good, though. We're talking about a lot of artists, and I just keep hearing Ja Rule's voice in my head now. So he's overtaken Morgan Freeman as my intro.
Yeah, I was going to say, 30 years from now, there's going to be a fire nature documentary that's going to be narrated by Ja Rule, of all people. It's going to be the plight of the hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Yo, write that down. That needs to be done.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, so just like hopping right into it, I don't know exactly year to year, but it seems like there were a ton of Jordan 1 releases this year. And like, even like, as we started talking, I was going back kind of just looking through some of the websites and looking at what came out. Cause you know, it's been so long, and 2020 in itself has been so long that I forgot so much of what came out in the early months of this year, feeling like it was like years back, you know, but yep. I guess like, let's just start with the first release of the year, which, you know, I'm just going to toss it to you, Kenneth, since you were just talking about this one.
The Satin Gym Reds. I think people were already fatigued with black and red, being that last year we had Bloodlines, Gym Reds, and then like a toy yellow that was damn near the exact same colorway, color blocking and all. Yeah. So it was like, oh, another one. But, and satin at that, it was just like, okay, we can't do this one. It was a pretty cool shoe. That flew under the radar, like I was saying before we went on air, because of everything in February. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out what else came out in January, because it was it's always that month.
Yeah. I didn't even really think about that until you said that, you know, like basically just thinking like how the sneaker calendar goes from like the end of December basically to what's coming at All-Star. And we forget that there's 4 or 5 weeks in between where, you know, potentially a lot of good stuff comes out. And I actually was thinking, you know, I don't want to get too much into the lows because there's not enough, but one of the first lows that I actually liked this year, which I normally don't, I don't care one way or the other, lows versus highs. To me, like a Dunk low, a Jordan 1 low, like it's a beautiful shoe in the right colors, right? But the pine greens were one of the first, I think, like maybe early February or something, the pine green lows. And that shoe was just like super clean. Like if you saw that, I mean, I first saw it and I was like, oh, that'd be a cool shoe to make a Heineken Jordan 1 out of, right? Like just swap a couple things and add the star on the back and you got a pretty dope little custom. So it's crazy though, like, and I wonder like what everybody thinks about this, because like the satin, when you think of like the satins prior to that, like that one that came out in January, it's always more like a regular traditional Jordan colorway, and all they do is put satin instead of, you know, leather or whatever. And that one was kind of interesting because it wasn't like, I think it's just like a super wearable shoe, right? Like it's easy for even like you know, diehard sneakerheads to just be like, yo, a black Jordan 1 with some red laces and some red accents, like red wings on the side. To me, that's like an easy win. But like, I think it still probably sits pretty far under the radar in terms of like, you know, the price and stuff on, you know, the secondary market.
I think people got like Kenneth said, like they got fatigued on it. But everyone's so ready for another, you know, black toe to come out, because everyone kept reading these style codes, the color codes, like, oh, it's going to be a red re-release for, you know, start the year, or it's going to be a black toe re-release. And then they get it. They're just like, oh, not what we wanted. Bright colors, but not what we wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
think part of that is, I don't want to take any shots at the blogs because I love the blogs, but part of that is when a leaker does take a SKU code and creates a colorway, and the anticipation builds so much for what they expect, not thinking that this is just a guess, unless
Yeah.
stated that, hey, this is what it is, you get let down. So you have some sort of like disappointment with whatever is coming. Even if the shoe is dope, it gets overlooked because it's not what you was expecting. And then you think about everything that came out around whatever that mock up or that shoe is. In this case, the Satin Gym Reds, we had the Black Cat Force.
No.
Black
Yeah.
There
Cat
you go.
Force came out 3 months. And
I
if you were
Yeah.
forgot
into
about
the
that.
swoops, the swoops came out also. So
Dang.
Yep.
it's you always pick and choose your battles.
I passed on those black cats and it still hurts my heart. But like, you don't have to say it about the blogs, but I will. It's like, I mean, it's like, do you really need to click that bad where you have to post? I mean, I get having been there, you need something to run at Tuesday at 10 a.m. I get it. But like Tuesday at 10 a.m. in March, when you're looking forward to January 9 months later, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, no one's got time for that. And I know the homie John goes into it because it's like, why? Like, it goes into the whole journalistic integrity. That's a whole nother conversation. But it's just it's wild how it's just like you need to feed that cycle so bad that like that shoe's not no damn bread 2020 retro premium bullshit. It's not. It's going to be something that it has that same kind of
Completely
color
different.
scheme. The same reason why they keep dropping bread toe mids is just they see the color scheme in the Jordan 1 and their brain fires off. So it's just
I
I'll
used
stop
to
on that
fire
tangent.
off with disclaimers. I used to. I stopped doing it because it doesn't even matter. People are gonna think what they think. But I used to fire off with disclaimers because I hated when it would come. It was you said. I didn't say anything. I reposted this.
Yeah.
Now,
No,
if I,
But you said it.
I know you do that too, and
now
I that's good. Power to you,
And
man.
it's a
if
it's
I
a
get
really tough
information,
thing
I'll
though,
try
right?
to. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a really tough thing, right? Because you want to be, like on one hand you're trying to provide like that news and information to people, right? But like because there's so many people throwing stuff out there, it's impossible to be right all the time. And I think that's
Yeah.
the thing that we talked about on the podcast. I think we even talked about it when you were on with us before. And it's so difficult for me to look at these sites and see these people and know so many of these people personally and see a post that they have up 6 months later that's absolutely wrong, right? Like the shoe came out, they were wrong, but they left the old information up. I just like to see people go in and either edit the post and just say, yo, this turned out differently, but this was a dope concept. Or hey, just delete the post and let it go and say, hey, we moved on to the actual release. Because that's the hardest part, right? And it's that conversation of like, providing some sort of a service for people and that journalistic integrity. And it's tough, right? Because I mean, inevitably I get excited about some of these colorways too. So I want to see them. I don't want people to not mock them up because to me, that's part of the excitement of like, oh, okay, this could be cool. Like I'm going to pay attention to this, but
The other
it's
end for me, the other end for me is I know what a lot of these look like, and I'm not allowed to say something.
Yeah.
Facts.
yep.
It just is what it
The
is.
ones,
Yep.
the ones that I am allowed to say something, I do. The ones that I'm not, I don't.
Yeah.
Like that top 3 2.0 rumor that started. Like we seen the
Yeah, I saw
shoe,
it.
and we like when we seen the shoe, it was like, how the hell did we get top 3 from this? But then then when we seen the bottom of the shoe, I get it. The bottom of the shoe has stars on it. That's where the blue is at. But at the same time, where the hell did we get top 3 from?
Yeah.
People want it so bad though. They will trick themselves into thinking, but just as Rob was saying, I need clicks Tuesday at 10 a.m. So it's like, you know what, these colors I can justify it being the top 3. So I'm gonna just put it out there and see what happens. There were mock-ups of it too, wasn't it? Like I was pretty
Yep.
sure when I was going through the list of 2020, there's still on sneaker news. There's a mock-up of that top 3 2.0 on their list. They haven't taken it down yet.
Let's let's just get this last example in of like the 4s Mike brought up a couple weeks ago. There's supposed to be like a Shatter Backboard
Starfish.
4,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, Starfish 4. We all had Shatter Backboard in our mind. Then you see it, it's like, oh, that's just something. I think it looks cool, different.
I like it.
But it's like let something else be something else.
I like the original idea of it. I when I seen the mock-up, I was like, this isn't going to be what it is. And I was this close to saying, think breads, just mesh. But it wouldn't have came out. It wouldn't have transferred. But just like the 5 that come out next year.
Now, that's what I was going to ask you, Ken. It was just like, how often do you suppress that need to be like, you guys are completely off? Is it just you laughing at people? Because I'm sure that brings you a lot of joy. Like, you idiots. What are you guys doing?
I don't get joy. 3 years ago, fun fact, 3 years ago, I used to get super annoyed, super irritated, and damn near envious of a lot of the blogs using information that I put out and not crediting me. And then I said, can I curse?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My information, so I feel good about it anyway, but that's not how it looks.
Yep.
And then I got with a couple of people that can actually put my ideas on paper and actually show what it looks like. And then I was seeing actual sample, but that's a whole nother story.
I saw that tweet, by the way.
It is what it is now, because it's like the blogs is going to run the story regardless of who information they put out, regardless of what the mock-ups look like. The story is out there. This is what's coming. Cool. Let's run it. Yeah. We're not going to fact check it. We're not going to see who it came from. We're just going to run it.
I think there's like an even bigger problem with the bigger the blogs are, right? And this comes from me like working for these big blogs for a long time, right? One of the challenges is you hire somebody to run social media, and then you have them constantly looking at the competition, right? So like if you're Complex, you're looking at Bleacher Report, you're looking at Sports Illustrated, you're looking at Soul Collector, you're looking at Sneaker News, you're looking at Jordan's Daily, but you're only looking at these major accounts for the most part, right? And it's not necessarily the company's fault or the person running social, right? It's part of the problem with Instagram being like the main source of information for a lot of people now, is that you've looked at those accounts so much that now they're always the top 10. You can follow 1,000 people, but you're going to see those top 10 people that you engage with, right? So when you tap on that post and you're like, okay, I get the information from Sneaker News, like someone like you who provides that information, and then it gets taken and leveled up to like these massive millions of followers. Oftentimes those people don't even know where the original source of that came from, right? And that's the most frustrating part of this whole like space that we're in with sneakers right now, in my opinion. Because it's like,
there was just a little bit more journalistic integrity. Like that was one of the goals that I had, as far as like, if I'm going to put some information out, I'm going to make sure that it is factual to a T. And if it's not, I'm going to go back and say, hey, this wasn't what it was. We got it wrong. I'm going to say, the point, the Varsity Reds that came out in February this year, the 85s, where we thought we were getting breads.
Yep.
We had a credible source say, hey, this is what's going to happen, blase blue. What we didn't know is they were talking about a Photoshop picture that surfaced like early 2000s, mid 2000s or whenever, that MJ allegedly wore. He did wear those, but it was a Photoshop picture, and that's where that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were close. We were real close.
Yeah. So close.
We did wrong, and we apologize. I apologize. I know my guy apologized. I don't know about anybody else going to rectify that, but we also did get one, because we did know that the banned airships were dropping. We just didn't know when.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to people rectifying stuff, they just, because the news cycle for sneakers is so ridiculously fast. Like, as we're talking, I'm sure we can start this conversation and then go look at all the blogs. An hour from now, there's 10 new stories on there. So they're like, it's buried. No one's going to look that deep. So that's what happens. They're like, I have no need to go do this. I have another 10 stories I have to put up, and hopefully one of them's right.
Yep.
So it's almost like the sneakers mentality where you're catching L's when you're actually trying to cop the sneakers. So now that's how you're also disseminating the journalistic side of it as well. I guess my question as well to you, Kenneth, is do you ever feel that if you are so historically accurate and you have that journalistic integrity, does that ever kind of get used against you because you may be spoiling things that these bigger companies want? Like, how do you navigate through that? Because I imagine that you having that high personal code that you do, like you want to be right and you want to lead people the right way.
Some things I just don't post.
Makes sense.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
It goes like that. Like I want to apologize to Marcus so bad, but I know that it doesn't mean anything to him right now. Like the situation with the trophy rooms is unfortunate. Uh, Outside of the leaks, there were a lot of pairs stolen. So it's like that whole situation is just, for lack of better words, fucked. And hopefully that they can salvage something with it. But I was already upset with not the blogs, but like the hype pages, because there's a lot of hype pages on Instagram that they don't care about anything being factual. They care about money and clicks.
Yeah.
How many pre-orders can I rack up? How many people can I get to buy this bot to be set up? That's all I care about. I don't care if this is. I don't care if it really looks like this or not. I got you hook, line, and sinker. You don't pay for this. Now you're stuck. No refunds. And because those pages, they got so many followers and they amass so much money that no matter what I say, what they say is golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
they're like guaranteeing the product. They're just
guaranteeing you a slot that could be similar to it. Warren
Yep.
But you know, it is what it is. Like case in point, Shattered Backboards 4.0.
Yeah.
The metallic orange fours, basically.
I
Which they
mean,
might as well
like
just come out with that.
a lot of this stuff, man. It's unfortunate because it's like some of these pages are grown men, some of these pages are kids, but they're grabbing money from people who are so in fear of missing out, damn near a year out, that they're willing to pay for a slot.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where it's come to right now. I mean, and then the flip side of that is the rep culture. But I've had enough of the rep culture, man.
Yeah, it's been insane, but it was really cool to see. I mean, obviously, I would have loved to have personally gotten a pair of the New Beginnings stuff, and as somebody who just appreciates those stories and has been like putting a lot of my time and energy and work into this whole business, it would be cool to have access to that stuff. I'm not like surprised by the way it was done. I think it was cool that there were some people, the OG support group guys got a lot of them got to go out and get those packs, and like it was awesome. Like when we talked to you the last time, it was right around that time when you got the pack, right, and got your hands on it for the first time. And I just think it's dope that
I was
at least that we
US to get.
Yeah, and it's just dope to see that they're at least embracing that, right? Because like for a long time, like Marvin, who was on with us when you were on to talk about the ship and that. I mean that was one of those things. Like Marvin was like, I mean, he had like hashtags and like years worth of like pleading for this shoe to come back because, like, I mean, Marvin's my buddy and like I love that guy. But he's also kind of insane the way he collects sneakers. Like I can't keep up to that level of like needing to have everything. But like when I see him get stuff, like he just picked up one of the Olive 9s recently, and I'm like, damn, I can't wait to see him have the whole, like he's got to be so close to having, he's very specific about what he collects. But I'm sure once he hits that, it's gonna be like the best, like. Yeah, it's going to be like a 6-hour YouTube tour of these sneakers that we're all going to just be like, all right, let's see.
I've had this conversation with a few of my friends outside of Instagram and social media about that pack in particular. Like like over the past few weeks, like after finishing, like grabbing everything that I want this year, I felt guilty. Outside of it being quarantine, just think about, COVID and how many people were affected by this, and I'm over here happy and joyous about shoes. Granted, this is what takes my mind to being in a happy place and not thinking about the bullshit. I still felt guilty just even thinking about February. February is my birthday month. So anything that I get in February is a birthday cop to me. But to get something like a few months in advance directly from the brand felt good until everything was released and the situation happened the way it happened. So it was like, I'm learning now not to take comments to heart and like reading comments because it's they're going to say whatever they're going to say. But there was so much over the past 3 or 4 weeks that I've seen with just people just being upset with sneakers in general, how everything is being released, how everything is being funneled, not thinking about you couldn't go to the store. You can't. The normalcy that we had a year ago is not the same as what we have today.
Yeah.
So I had to understand people's frustration with just being home. I don't know when my next check is coming in, but my sneaker money was still here, and I still got my bill money, and I didn't have to use my sneaker money this year because I caught nothing but L's. I'm not going to spend all the sneaker money I had on retail on one pair for resale. It's not going. So it's like hearing all of that, and even talking outside of social media, it kind of is like, damn, like I'm fortunate, I'm privileged, I'm fortunate, and I'm thankful. I have to say that. But at the same time, it's still like a bit of guilt there for even just having that type of privilege in this time.
Man,
In this time, I wanted to put that out there because that New Beginnings pack was such an unfortunate release. Like I do wish that it was wider, at least had a sneakers draw, something, because you know, grease palms, money happens. We get it. We seen those videos,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't have went down like that.
man, don't
Yeah,
feel
I
bad.
saw.
I mean, it's like feel. Feel whatever kind of way when you see somebody get seated that pair who's just like working at High Snob and they got a pair because they work there. Like that's whatever. But like we'll go into more about what you've been working on towards the end of the episode. But like you're out here really putting in love and work for that shoe. So it's like the release sucked. I wanted a pair, but like fuck it, I'm not gonna go spend what you were just talking about, a whole year's worth of release money on one resale drop on that particular shoe. But like you I'm telling you what to do. You shouldn't feel bad because you put in that work. So like feel good about your pair, feel bad about the release, but don't feel any kind of way about your acquisition of the shoe. So there's a lot of people out there putting in good work that get stuff from brands who put in that good work to deserve it. So don't sell yourself short on that. But the release sucked ass. I mean, it was so bad. I can't remember it outside of other people being angry and me not having the shoe. That was like that's the extent of my memory of it.
Well,
But
dude,
I do remember that it was like two releases. It was like at the event and then at like a Foot Locker or a Champ somewhere. I don't know exactly the streets or anything like that. I do remember that. And the one that was outside of Jordan Brand was the one that got the most flack because people were literally at the back door loading up packs. And then like you would see like pictures, people had 7 or 8 packs a piece. And yeah, it was all bad. It was all bad.
yeah, I was there for that. Like I saw it live where you didn't see the people back door, but you saw the line at the Nike store in Chicago. So first it was they did the reservations for the Off-White 5. You go in, pick your Off-White 5. That was like 7, 8 a.m. in the morning. Store opened at 9. I guess at 9 they started letting people line up on that like Nike installation that they did. It was this huge thing they had. It was really cool with all the All-Star releases. And I just asked the security guard because they didn't have anything like, there was nothing like on the app. Because when you got to Chicago, you had to redo your sneakers app to get all the information for stuff that was happening there. There was no information. It was all word of mouth, some kind of way. Like, how did you know to go line up at the store for this shoe? Like, I knew about the Off-Whites, but how did I know to go line up at this specific corner for this pack? And the guy's like, yeah, it's for the New Beginnings pack. I'm like, oh, okay. And you can see, like, okay, there's about 10 people in line, so maybe they don't know. Dude, I went around a corner. I swear to you, like, 3-4 blocks back, just people. No one only had what? I'd probably say 100 is probably too many. and they let these people line up for like streets down. It was crazy.
We
I mean,
could talk
that type of picture looks good whenever you're promoting about the high heat and look how many people want it. But yeah, it's ugly. And it's one of those things where, as a relatively new person to the sneaker game again, it's frustrating to me that you know how many pairs you have. Just cut it off once you hit that threshold. It saves a lot of heartbreak, and I'm sure also a lot of property damage as well, in a sense.
I mean, it's tough, right? Because they also want to, like, yeah, of course, there's some element of like the hype bringing people in, but there's always variables in those lines, right? And it's not that way as much as it used to be. But like, I remember lining up for shoes and friends lining up for a lot of the Dunk releases 10, 15, whatever years back. And a lot of people just didn't buy the shoe if they couldn't get it in their size. So there's a lot of those nuances that it's not necessarily for that pack, but like there's just a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of stuff that, and honestly, like when you have something, you know, I would second Robbie's thoughts. Don't feel bad about it. Like it sucks that, you know, that maybe could have been handled better by, you know, Nike and Jordan Brand in the way they did it. But at the same time, that particular shoe, that particular pack, even just being so significant, right? If you like remove sneakers from the equation and just think of how many people were Michael Jordan fans back in the day, you're talking about millions of people. So you can't possibly make enough of those for everybody to be happy. Even if you made 10 million, 20 million, 30 million pairs, there's actually more people that are fans of Jordan that if they had the opportunity to get that and actually knew that it was coming out, they probably would. So, you know, it's a give and take with all of these releases, right?
Yeah, that next Chicago release is really
That's the line.
No,
it was snowing, man. It was snowing.
It's Chicago.
What were you saying, Ken?
February. It's Chicago in February.
Cold. It was like I got no degrees. It was just cold.
No, but I was saying that the next Chicago release is going to hurt. Not like this bread release or this Royal release that happened. The next Chicago release is going to be different, and I'll tell you why. That documentary ignited so much in not even like the older people that were into MJ, but like current NBA fans who just did not know how cerebral, and that's my favorite word today, how cerebral MJ really was when he was game. And that's why this means what it means. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's only taking small bits and pieces, but you're feeling something of what we felt, some remnants of what we felt watching MJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have family in India, and this was their first exposure to Jordan was through Netflix and that Last Dance. And that's the saying now. They are diehard Jordan fans. They will tell me now why Jordan is better than LeBron. I'm like, you've never watched a minute of NBA action. But there is that certain resonance. And going back to your favorite word of the day, cerebral, it's this thought process of Jordan was the first athlete that was essentially playing chess while we were playing checkers. And that is a 10-step love letter, instruction manual, however you want to call it, of how he did it.
Yep.
Yeah. I have one thing to say because this is probably like I just thinking about that documentary got me back in that mode. My mom's birthday is the same birthday as MJ, right?
Oh no.
I was born in '87. So I didn't really pay attention to the first three-peat. That second three-peat, I'm 9 years old. I'm in the Jordans. My mom's got me full decked out Bulls gear. There's nothing.
Nice.
I remember that I cried when they said this is MJ's last game. What? Why?
Yep.
What's going on? Why is he stopping? Like, then watching this documentary and him saying, I figured out how to win. It was just making sure everybody else believed in what I knew. Like, winning is the easy part. It's getting everybody else to be on board. Like, what do you mean you figured out how to win? Like, that's it.
Crack the code.
And he took it personally.
Yeah.
And I took that personally.
Yeah. Yep.
No.
Love that
Speaking
meme,
of-
by the way.
No, speaking of personally, was your mom born on the same day as MJ, or was MJ born on the same day as your mom?
Oh.
MJ's older, so she was born on the same day MJ.
So
But,
I guess like moving to kind of the next big release for the year, right? Obviously the UNC to Chicago Jordan 1 is probably a lot of people looked at as like the alternative shoe for All-Star weekend, right? I think that came out the same time.
yeah, all three, same day. I think it's on. This is a perfect platform and a perfect time to say this. So many people are upset whenever they see women's release in front of a Jordan, and they don't understand why. So salute to the women's Jordan team and everybody behind the design teams, the material handlers, everybody. Salute to the entire staff behind women's Jordans. There's a reason why they are creating this division for itself to sustain like women. Like that's a whole market that has rarely been catered to. And in order to have reoccurring customers, you have to create something for them to come back to. So yeah, we're not going to get extended sizes on a lot of these pairs. Yeah, they're doing what they're doing, making them luxury, giving them extra, whatever, just for them because they deserve it. Yeah, men are going to buy it, but this was made for women in mind. Period. We're not shrinking it and pinking it. We're not purpling and we're making a shoe for women. Oh, it's going to have an MJ story, but this is for women, and I applaud them for doing that. And 2021, 2022, we'll get back to unisex sizing, but that was why 2017 going into 2018 all the way up until this year, women. Because if you realize retro high Jumpman's like stopped, right? We didn't get any just retro highs with Jumpman on it. They became women's Jordans.
Yeah.
Then a lot of mids became women's mid SEs. We're still getting a few men's mids and unisex mids, but a lot of mids became GS and women's mids. And that was the reason. Like we're creating this market for them. And once that market is fully curated, okay, we'll get back to unisex sizing. But that was the purpose behind all of that. That's not even just Jordan 1s, that's 11s, 4s, 3s, everything that they were doing. Like it started with that. So I had to say that because I always get hit. Man, no extended sizes. This is why.
Yeah. Well, with the 11 Jubilees that came out, you may be able to answer this, but are they looking to make a more uniform shoe? Like, because I know a lot of women, they're glad that they're getting the women releases. They're not, shrinking it, pinking it, no glitter. They're getting some of these, get an ability to get some of these OG looking, colorways now. But with the Jubilees that came out, I guess for us is yesterday, it was literally the same construction. The boxes were the same. They had different tags, like they had the women tag. But if you took, so me, I wear a 10. You take a men's 10 and a women's 11.5, they looked the exact same. It wasn't like a slimmer shoe. It was the exact same sneaker, but they separated the loadout for, hey, we're going to put women's tags on these, men's tags on these. Is that something you're going to be looking to get back to that you know of? Where, hey, we want to give, we come up with bread one, you get a bread one, and men's size, we're going to have the exact same thing in, women's sizes, but we're going to make sure it all looks the same.
So if you look at a GS pair and a women's pair, they're not the same.
Yeah. They're completely different now.
And the reason for that, salute to Jasmine Jordan. Marcus, you're not going to have this, and I'm not going to have it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an analogy. I don't know if that's how they really look at it, but it is that way. Like for years, they've gotten lesser quality, and why?
For sure.
Why would you do that? Like, I get kids. I want to throw the shoes on. They really playing. They going 100 miles per hour. No stop. That shoe is really going to get worked out in. But like women do just as much as a lot of us do.
Yep.
They like women love getting fresh. We love getting fresh for women. So it's like women love getting fresh to get fresh. Period. Like just confidence boost for them. Like, I get it. So why not give them what we get? This looking back, like the Harris 11s or any GS pair from previous years, like you said, like that carbon fiber don't look the same. Like it just didn't add up. Even just bringing it to one smaller wings logo, complete difference in leather. Like it just what they did with the Japan pack recently was like a clear indication of like y'all can't do that to the women. Like make a women's pair,
Oh
make a
dang, I
women's
didn't see
pair.
the
Don't
smaller.
just give me.
Yeah,
It was completely different. Like the shoe itself was damn near like an alternative version to what we got as men.
dang, I didn't see
Like
those.
I
I
had
didn't.
to
I
send
always
a
saw the
pair.
men's size. Oh no,
Yeah, like I had to send it back. Like it wasn't. I can't do that to my wife.
for sure. God dang.
You know, if she can't wear what I wear, then I'm not gonna do that to her. Go ahead and keep that.
Yeah.
Like it's not fair. So
You're right.
yeah, it's just an equality thing.
And I think too,
So
like it's one of those things that just from a business perspective, right? Like women, generally speaking, are wearing more sneakers than probably they ever have before, too, right? And buying more, right? There are way more women that I know now that have 30, 50, 100 pairs of sneakers in their closet, where, like, you know, when I was younger, that was not the case, right? It was a few here and there that were into it to that level, but it wasn't like something that they were, like you said, they were getting fresh, but it was a different type of thing back then. And I also just think that, like, the cool thing about this whole shift has been there's opportunity to do both for Nike and Jordan Brand right now, right? They're so popular on a bigger scale, right? Like you said, Kenneth, I mean, The Last Dance, like, even like I have like younger cousins that are now Jordan fans that weren't Jordan fans. You know, they knew Jordan and they have Jordans, but they weren't aware of like why.
Yeah.
And I think that goes across the board, but also like from a business perspective, because of that kind of expansion of mindset for people, now you can have so much creativity with all of these different places, right? And inevitably there's always going to be people that feel left out, right? Like there's going to be people that are like, you know, I mean, think of like some of the interesting like collaborations that happened. The Sheila Rashid, was that one of them? Like with a purple dip toe on
yeah.
that like gray suede pair. Like it's a mid, right? But like I think that shoe looks dope. Of course I'd love to buy it if it was in my size. But like I'm not going to be mad about it. It's like that's just a necessity for the business to have all these different nuances. And I think of like this just came to mind because I was scrolling through looking at some of the releases, but like there was that like grade school, I think, yellow Jordan 1 with the flowers on it around the same time that came out.
Yeah.
And like
The
that's kind of
Galentine's.
funny because you have a shoe that essentially is almost like exactly what the customizers and like, you know, like all these people that have been making all the drama that's come around all these shoes, right? Where they swapped out the swoosh for something else. And like, this is just Nike saying, look, we know that there's a demand for this, whether that's, you know, a grade school size, a women's size, a men's size, it doesn't really matter, right? They're just testing all these different things out because there's enough people out there to buy them. And yeah, like as sneaker heads or whatever, we're going to be looking at like, you know, the highs or, you know, the specific lows, but like, you know, the average consumer sees like, you know, like the Hulk Jordan 1 mids, right? And it's like, hey, my kid's into the Hulk. I'm into the Hulk. I'm going to buy these, right? So they have to have all these varieties available, right? So
That right there is the main word of the day when it comes to anything as far as people wanting to be inclusive to things. Women were not in the pool of shoes for them back in the day because it wasn't available to them. Just think of how many high energy releases, any quick strikes, some tier 0 releases that had no GS women's sizes whatsoever. Just think. Now multiply that by like the years of the brand being alive.
yep.
And then, now let's just give them 3 years of exclusives. It doesn't equal up, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Long time coming. It should have happened like years and years ago from the beginning.
Yeah. So before we go on to like one of the, I guess, craziest shoes of Jordan 1s this year, I thought it was interesting that I think it was the white and gray Zoom, the first Zoom Jordan 1 of the year, or was there one before that?
No, that was
the black pair.
Zoom racers were the first one of the year. The first Zoom that you're talking about that they made was 2019's the Fearless. Those were the first made.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's the black pair.
For the racers. I didn't get any Zoom Jordan 1s whatsoever. I'm still a little salty about that. I talked about it last night. All due to neglect. I mean, that's it. Like, I literally neglected release date and looked back. Oh shit, they dropped. Dang. So that and it's funny because I put release dates out every Sunday. How the hell do you forget about a release date and you literally update people every Sunday? But
well, what's crazy about that one? This pair, the white and gray pair, has. I mean, people were like, "I don't want that shoe. I don't want that shoe." And just so happened, there's a very expensive one that looks like it. We're going to get to later. They're like, "Oh, I want that one. I can't afford this one." And the price is almost $500 for size 10, which is going to balance out to what I'm trying to buy 2017 the Royal. Like, it's the perception of like I can't do it.
Yep. I mean, and that's kind of where I was headed with this, right? Like the Dior Jordan 1, obviously bananas that even happened, but like. I actually, I mean, I like that Zoom colorway. I just, again, it's one of those things where you just can't possibly pay attention to everything that's coming out, you know, like it's, and you're not going to be able to buy everything either. Right. But like, then once you have, you know, I think this is part of the problem with everybody jumping ahead, right? Once you know the Dior Jordan 1 is coming, you almost are like distracted by it with everybody talking about it on social media. So there's other ways of things just falling through the cracks, right? Because I think even in that right around that same time is when that the mid Jordan 1 Chicago came out, right, with the black toe, and that's a good looking shoe, but like it didn't have a lot of energy around it because everybody was so like, when's the drop? When, you know, like everybody's just like waiting to see when this Dior thing is going to happen. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm paying attention to it too. It's like, hey, if I get lucky and I can make $10,000 on a shoe, you better believe I'm going to take half that, put it away, and then buy $5,000 worth of shoes I actually want. You know, like that's just how I would do it.
Correct.
So. Yeah. I'm so frustrated with that Dior release. Not the actual release itself, but just the shoe itself. Like, cool. Congrats. What they did with it, that's huge. But like, I just was turned off by the whole idea of a Dior Jordan 1. Like, I get fashion houses wanting to, you know, dabble in the streetwear. Cool. Even sportswear. Got it. I just couldn't. But like you said, if I hit, I'm going to take that. Like, who's not going to do that? That shoe wasn't made for the common consumer to just wear around. Like, that was literally made for people who want to who are into that lifestyle. I don't know how else to say that. Like, people who are into, you know.
Yes, bro, the flex.
They want to flex on them, as the kids say.
I got the $1,000 belt on. Why not have the $2,000 shoes on, $2,000 jeans, and the $4,000?
Saying it out loud blows my mind. I'm like,
and $1 million smile because you have one, Mr. Unloved one.
Oh man, I'm in the process of getting my teeth fixed actually. So I want to throw that out there. That's my goal for, like, before I hit 2022 to have my teeth completely fixed. Because I was a huge smoker about 3-4 years ago and I quit. So like, that's one thing I have to get on. But no, like in all seriousness, like when that shoe first leaked, when Hero leaked it, the owner of Fragment, I was like, I paid attention to the damn Varsity Reds more than I did the Dior's, but I understood it because Travis had leaked it probably like 30 minutes prior, and I didn't see that. I didn't see that picture, so I didn't know that. Oh shit, that's that's what's going on. Like I kind of just like kept scrolling until like I started. I was like, oh wait a minute, and then I tweeted it. I didn't say anything. I said, oh, so this is what the 85 is going to look like, and then it just kind of exploded from there. But I automatically when I seen the show, I was like, oh, that's not for us. That is not for us. It's
But
super.
we all entered the draw because I know I did, knowing dang well I went flying to Las Vegas, which is the closest place for me to go buy.
I had probably 3 or 4 people hit me and say, if you win, I'll fly you here. I'll set you up at the hotel. I'll fly you here. I'm giving you this. I'm not going to disclose the amount. I'm giving you this, and we good. And I'm like, bet.
Can't say none of that.
Bet. Whatever area I was flying to, I was taken care of. I mean, I still have those offers up. Like, yo, if you find somebody who has a price under this, let me know. Like, I get that DM so often, it's ridiculous. I'm like,
That's crazy.
what do you want me to do? There's nobody selling the Dior under that price. And if there are, I'd be skeptical.
Yeah, yep. They have come down quite a bit, I think, like in the last maybe 3-4 months. But I mean, I say that knowing that like there's still, $7,000 to $8,000, maybe $10,000 out of my price range. So,
very subjective to people.
Yeah, they've come down, right? Like,
Still can't do it.
Yep. But so I guess like from there, I think like the next big release, I don't even know if you would consider it big, but like maybe Court Purples was right after that, right? Like April or May timeline.
Yeah.
Right, so
that was the next.
The UNC's Court Purple. I mean, on UNC's the Pine Greens, because like I think everybody just like kind of skipped that once they seen it.
That pebble leather, they didn't like it like Crimson Tint.
Yep.
It was unfortunate. Then the Court Purples was probably in my top 5 Jordan 1s this year, because anything purple, I'm going to grab it, and then it's a Chicago colorway, so it was like, you're not getting away from me. I'm going to get you no matter what. So like, I hate even saying this. So UNC's, the Chicago's, got that for my wife, my daughter, myself. Court Purples I got just for myself, and the Pine Greens I got for my son. But I got all of those at the beginning of February.
Nice.
So I when they came in, I was like, yes, but it was a note. Shut up. Do not post. What?
How hard is that? How hard is that? You get the box like, yes, you're like, all right, well, now I can't even do anything with them for a month or so.
That goes back to what I said earlier about the whole guilt thing and just hearing people not being able to like get a win this year on certain things, because it's like, damn, you sitting there not being able to do this, and I got this, which is why I did a giveaway this past month for the Black and Golds. February, I plan on doing another giveaway for the UNCs and the Silver Toes. I wish I could do the natural grays, but that's not going to happen. And I wish I could do trophy rooms, but that's damn sure not going to happen. But yeah, no, like to answer your question, like that's where that guilt comes from, like just sitting on shit and not being able to talk, like, how is this? How does this look? And me saying, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right looking at it on the floor, like, yeah, I know what it looked
like. I mean, but that's also why you have those relationships with people, right? I mean, that's the thing that people don't necessarily realize that are going to watch this or listen to this episode, is that there's a lot of that give and take, right? Like, in order for you to be in a relationship with somebody, they've got to trust that you're not going to leak that stuff before the days that they want it, right? Because I mean, inevitably everything gets leaked before the brand really wants it to be out there, but they want it to be out there with certain people because of the way that those people present the product. They tell the stories. They just respect the nature of that whole, unveiling of the product. Right. And I think that's something that speaks a lot to like how you go about this, right? Like, yeah, you, and it's tough because I think you play both sides of that very well, right? Like you do acknowledge these like mock-ups, you talk about everything that's coming on a regular basis, but at the end of the day, you're not going to go throw those on a Instagram post or on Twitter or something just because you know you're going to get a bunch of likes out of it.
Yeah.
You're going to
Right.
wait till it's right for your relationship.
I look at it like this. There's absolutely no reason for me to post something for likes. I get nothing out of a like. I've had that was a deep conversation I had with my wife. If you're not posting to be informative or to help somebody, what the fuck are you posting it for? Like I have other posts for that. Like I post people to highlight them. Somebody took a dope shot or whatever have you. Yeah, that's what I do on a daily basis. I have certain days where I post customs from people, which is probably going to stop in 2021 because that's a whole nother story too. But yeah, it goes into what are you getting out of it? Like I don't get paid to post shoes. I do get paid to post merchandise because, well, I've gotten those discount codes. I've gotten those relationships. So that's the influencer marketing shit. Cool. I'm not influencing anybody to buy this shoe. I'm being informative to let you know, hey, this shoe is coming out in a few months. The what is it, J23 app or 23J app or whatever, does the exact same thing. He's a little bit more cautious and careful because of the prestige he's built up around his app. He has no choice but to be factual and correct and only post the official photos.
Yeah.
Hats off to him. Shout out to that guy because I understand. I have a little bit more leeway because I'm not getting paid to post this stuff. He has a paid app. His stuff has to be factual. And which is why a lot of people, this right here boils down to why people get mad at mock-ups and replicas being posted on blogs. They're getting paid ad representation to post things, to have factual information. So when it's not correct, it's like, are y'all going to retract this? Because y'all are getting paid to post what's going on. Y'all not getting paid to post this per se, but y'all get paid to have factual information. Y'all are drawing in traffic. So what's going on here? So that right there, that bottom line, money makes a difference in the why people are upset when they see certain things. Like you have an obligation here. Every blog is getting paid for ad revenue.
Hey. Now I'm just gonna start. Nope, that's not real. Unsubscribe to you first.
I'm sorry, I went off on a whole nother.
Right?
Yeah, that right there.
I know you consider yourself a journalist, but I also feel you've been a bit of an educator this episode. So kudos to you because you've been dropping gems left and right.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That means a lot coming from y'all guys, truthfully. Being that some of y'all have been in the game for years and I've been following y'all just yeah. just yeah. I do want to say one thing. When it comes to a lot of these releases now, a lot of leaks are completely different from what they were 2-3 years ago. Like they slowed up dramatically. If you notice, Jordan Brand unveiled their spring release collection, All-Star collection, literally a month and a half, almost 2 months earlier than what they did previous years. Granted, they would have set up the event and they would have had, media there to take the pictures, how they usually have the setup and all that. They weren't able to do that. So what they did was sufficient enough. But notice how early they did it. And there's a reason for that. I mean, COVID, of course. But there's a gap of releases that were not released this year. And to take up that space, here, we're giving you a look at what we're doing next year, which means we're probably going to, I don't want to say some of those are canceled because I don't know the information just yet. I know a fourth of those releases are canceled. But the majority of those releases will happen
my mind
next
would
year,
like
and it's going to
prepared
be
to realize there was no DBs this year.
Namely the DBs that got moved to next year. So it's like, Right. There was a gap of releases that were just, all right, we're going to do it next year. And those were included in that. And
Sure.
the
That makes sense.
the trade off was us being able to see official photos and release kits,
Don't worry
the
about
whole press
January,
kit of
guys.
what's
It's
coming
okay.
out next year. And like they skipped over January to tell us what's coming out for
Yeah.
All Star. They for real skipped over January. I was scratching my head and asking certain people like, "Yo, I just read your article. What's going on?" Oh yeah, no, we just had to. Yeah, but like January, man. Oh, everybody knows what's going on in January. No, they don't. Like and there's like photos came out afterwards about stuff in January, but like we literally got stuff for February, March, and April official photos from Jordan Brand. Like, but I get it. That was the trade off. Like I said, that was the trade off for the gap of stuff that was missing. So, kudos, hats off. We know. Thank you.
All right, so getting back into some of these releases, I'm just going to throw a few of them out there and see what you guys think of them. Obviously, Royal Toes were pretty solid. The other few that came out, like not too far from that, was the tie-dye ones women's release. I thought was super dope. There was I don't think they did as well as I thought they would, but the Nothing But Net lows were pretty interesting. And then I forget the name of the.
There was a Dave White looking low that came out too that had like a painted white swoosh.
Yeah. And then the other one that's kind of around that time, I think, but I can't remember exactly, was like
because everyone thought it was like,
I think it was
like
a
Union
high, but it was
almost.
gray and then had the red collar.
The gray, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Bloodline 2.
What was it?
Yeah. Inspired Jordans. I do want to put that out there. That is going to be another mainstay color blocking. Like the shattered backboard color blocking became a mainstay. That Union color blocking is going to become a mainstay. But yeah, stores had it lined up as the Bloodline 2.0s. We had that mock up complete. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say we because I had nothing to do with that. The original mock-up for the Bloodline 2.0 was completely wrong. Everybody was like, "Oh, we're getting a Chicago-inspired Bloodline next year," and we end up getting that, which I'm not mad at. It's a dope shoe in hand. My wife has it. I skipped out on it because I'm rough on any shoe that is suede. Women's snakeskin was another one that I can take blame for that one. That one hurt. Shout out to the designer behind that. You did your thing. No harm if you hear this. That just wasn't the shoe for this household. Like my wife looked at it and was like, reverse red toe? Yeah, red toe. You can call it red toe. It's not black toes. It's like black toes, but red. I think it could have been a little bit. It could have been executed a little bit better, and I don't think the satin name should have been placed upon it because of that. Like they could have just called it, black and red snakeskins or snakeskins.
It was like, where's the
satin part threw so many people off. It was like,
the shoe, basically.
Oh, just the inner lining and the tongue. Got it.
Yep. Yeah. So that basically gets us to the
one person from Jordan ones this year. Like,
right? Like the silvers.
Nothing else. But I was like, I got these.
I think August. Oh, there you go. Mike's got his pair. Yeah.
I feel naked because I don't have any shoes downstairs.
Look at that. He looks like.
I don't got any with me either right now, so I didn't get any ones this year at all. I don't think so, but it's all good. I think what?
It's not. We're not saying it's not as surprising, but like none, no lows, no mids, no nothing.
I don't think so, man.
By choice?
I mean, a lot of that by choice. Yeah, like I was trying to cut back on spending. It was a whole deal for me. But usually, the first thing I do is like catch up when I do that. If I take a break from buying shoes, it's like, well, I still want to get that pair that came out, previously, and I really haven't even done that with hardly anything. So,
The silvers were the
but
one shoe I had to buy this year.
the silvers, see, I think
They're decently
that
low
the
right
navies
now.
are
I don't
that
know
for
why,
me, right? Like
but
that's
they're
the shoe. I'm
decently
like,
like
okay,
still the
I have got
mid
to
two
figure out a
hundreds,
way to
which
get
is
a pair
really
of
low
these
for a
without
Jordan
paying
1.
too crazy of a price for them. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Zen,
I guess I want to ask you this, Kenneth. I actually think that generally speaking, the price of all Jordan 1s on the resale market has come down pretty decently over the past like 6 to 9 months. Even though there's way more and there's way more interest in it, there seems to be like I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be like the crazy high prices that you typically see. But again, I guess I'm assuming that I'm saying that thinking like there aren't really like the original colorways, right? Like that's what's missing right now is like the demand for Royals, Breads, etc.
the U.S. doesn't dictate resale prices. That's what happens because if most of the bigger resellers don't sell through consignment shops, they sell overseas, and if overseas is not picking them up, price tends to drop because they can't sit on that stock. Which is why you'll if you like follow sneaker Twitter, you'll hear a bunch of people saying sit or sell or whatever have you, and then you'll find somebody who has so many pairs and rents do. So price drop. I got 10 sizes here. I'm trying to get rid of them all in bulk. Like you don't ever see them selling them each. I'm trying to get bulk sell, bulk sell, bulk sell, bulk sell, and that only happens when overseas isn't taken. Like I pay attention to that. Like I don't follow resale to a T to know exactly what prices are, but I follow to know how bad people are doing. I know it sounds fucked up, but
But that's a great point, and I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, I mean, when I was working for StockX, right? Like, we could see just how many pairs of a lot of the mids, for instance, were smaller sizes and mids would sell to China, and we would see prices of some of those shoes just ridiculous prices, like stuff that here in the States would be on a discount at Foot Locker would be selling in specific sizes for $500, $600, $700. And I'm talking like 9 months, 16, 18 months after they release, right? Like it's kind of really interesting to think about it in like a bigger picture. But I wanted to shift, I guess, to
There it is.
one of the shoes that I know Robbie picked up. And
Man, I got a man in Chicago now.
biohacks, right?
Mm.
Hey, Rob, you're on mute.
I was telling this. Go ahead.
I mean, there's a lot of people talking, so I put myself on mute, let you guys do your thing. I did get them here, and I put the off-white laces on them because it matched the toe box perfect. I forgot what shoes. I think I don't even know what fucking shoe the laces came from, but it matched the teal perfect, and I was like, that's a wrap.
They're dope
teal, but they're cool, man. A lot of people picked these up. A lot of people hated on them because they were so easy to pick up. I think they're weird. They're cool and they're weird. The yellowing is cool, but I like because I put the teal laces. I think the teal laces look teal on a lot of Jordan 1s. So
I'm so jealous that you have off whites and then the laces to match them. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
But then Japan, like the pink on the Japan, I think looks really good too. There's something different.
So a friend of mine has a pink hoodie. He made a pink hoodie, and it was funny you did that. I only wear my pink hoodie when I wear those. So
pink.
I have pink laces in my pair.
Mm-hmm.
No, but those biohacks is probably like my absolute favorite shoe that came out this year, and it's because it was so shocking seeing it, and even getting it in hand is still shocking. Like I can't believe they did this, And like I went over it last night when during my live. I broke it down. I said Rogue on the collar, Jubilee on the tongue, Cyclops
Yes.
on the eye. Like I broke it down. I put like every X-Men thing about how
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
because that's
Da-na-na-na-na.
early '90s X-Men cartoon. Like I had to have it. Like even like seeing we had that shoe pegged. Like, all right, it's going to be the undefeated dunk colorway. Now, when we got that, it was like, is it going to be blow for blow this, or did they just borrow the colors?
they are silver.
They just borrowed the colors and then took it a step further. And yeah, oh, Colossus on the swoosh.
Keep it going, Professor X. We need to hear all of it.
Throw the pair up. Yeah, Professor X in there somewhere.
No, I was calling you Professor X because you did your best Cerebro, man. You put the helmet on and you're locating mutants left and right in that color.
Nice.
I do that with a lot of pairs. Like whenever I get a pair in, the first thing I'm thinking about is what comic character can I match this to? Because I have a lot of tees that have comic characters. If I can't match it to that, what tee I personally have that I could match this to? But I always go back to a comic book character when I get a pair.
Green.
Oh man, hold on. Zins, the that was a blow for blow dunk colorway. The Zins. Yeah, that was a blow for blow dunk colorway. There was they purposely did that one like.
So
what was I going to say?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was getting ready to say the most disappointing Jordan 1 of the year for me, but go ahead. I'm gonna hold that off.
All right, so let's go through like the last handful of like the major releases. So the ones that come to mind for me, actually one of the shoes that I actually surprisingly liked and wish I would have picked up and I'll probably get at some point was the Zoom Crater Jordan 1. I just thought it was kind of weird in a cool way, like Robbie said on the biohacks. And then there was obviously the COJPs that we just talked about, the navy color, big kind of release energy for that one, just because, you know, you had all these people that kind of, I feel like that was the perfect time of like separation between people that got into sneakers on a much deeper level within the last, 5 years that didn't necessarily know the backstory of that shoe, but it's a great colorway. And then what else we got? Like obviously the metallic gold women's were pretty dope. The black and metallic gold. Well, then obviously the quote band mids that came out.
Really?
Robbie picked up the mochas. That's another one worth mentioning. That was I saw that those are still floating around on like there's a draw going on right now. So I don't know how they're still floating around, but they are. Yeah. And then
releases happen.
Yeah. And then I just want to mention like the J Balvin's, because I thought that shoe, we talked about it a few weeks back, but it's obviously way over the top. It's not like your traditional Jordan 1, but I think it's super dope that they are doing something that extreme, that kind of crazy, and just letting a creative person, an artist like collab and just really run with it, right? Because I would say like, it's as weird as it sounds, the Off-Whites, the Virgils, the Unions, they're very safe in terms of colors and like materials. And, they did their thing. They make it their own. They chop it up in different ways. But like when you see the J Balvin Jordan 1s, it's like, damn, what the hell? That's wild. Like, I mean, I couldn't see myself wearing it, but like, that's a shoe that I would love to have on the shelf just to look at,
Yeah, that was a wild shoe. That was a super wild shoe. What I did wish they did with that shoe was have the color placement random and not like the exact same on every pair. Like the tie-dyes. Like, but like if I get it, it's sort of like the heat map. But if they did it just in different places, like place the heat in different areas so it like disperses differently over the shoe, I think that would have been dope. I get why they did it the way they did, but that was like my only critique on that shoe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
With
that,
go ahead.
I mean, just with that, I'm just talking about the color. Like the J Balvin is the reason why Jordan 1s are 170 now.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a shoe like the J Balvin and have the Zoom Air and have all these fun, new, inventive things, the Crater ones, you got to up the price of those everyday 160 Jordan 1s because it's incredibly expensive. You have to color each panel on that Balvin one. You have to color. There's so much work that goes behind a shoe like that you're not going to be able to produce it unless you want it to cost $225, $250. Start charging that ultra premium Jordan markup. But I can't even look at that shoe. Like I
was like, I got you. Right? You were gonna say that. I was like,
photos of it. I want it so bad that like I'm not gonna. I haven't looked at resale yet. Mike typically goes and looks at it and tells me after I say that. Don't tell me this time. I'm not.
Well, if Mike won't, no.
I'm not looking at price. That's the only release of the whole year where it stung. It's like, damn, man, I had like 15 different raffles. I had like 10 different people trying for me on sneakers, and it's like a girlfriend that broke up with you and broke your heart. Like you don't even want to. You wish she was dead. I don't mean that to anybody walking this earth, but the sentiment of being so heartbroken, you're like, well, fucking fall off a cliff. Just like, it hurts.
Yeah, Jessica.
Surprisingly, the bout was more than expected. They were the same price as the 85 highs. They came out in February. They were like 190. Like they were more expensive than that. But
the world just.
I want to say this. My most disappointing release of the year had to be the Mochas.
Really? Why? Why do you say that?
And I was fooled by the pictures, man. Like the pictures got me. They got me good. Like I was thinking, when I get these in, but the color was so off from what I thought they were going to be that I was just turned off by the shoe. Like I did my normal trick to save a shoe that I'm turned off of. Throw red in it and see if it works.
I don't know, man. This brown is kind of cool that it's not like coffee brown. It's like how much just like doo-doo brown do you wear? I don't wear a lot of like doo-doo brown.
Yeah,
you gotta make it like an earthy brown. So like I think calling it mocha is dumb. But my friend brought this up because there's this pair and I have the clay green somewhere. So you have mocha and matcha. Because the other one's kind of like a matcha green. It's not so much a clay. Calling these mocha, I wouldn't call it mocha. I call it earthly. EARFLY. Earthly.
I like that. Keep that in mind right there. I like that.
I mean, so following up on
there's one more
the most
women's
disappointing.
Release.
Which one?
There's one more women's release that I had to bring out because that was like that was the women's team favorite release this year, which were the Lucky Greens. That was their most prized release this year. Mainly because of the story behind it. MJ's 60-point game against Boston. That was like that was their crown jewel this year of releases.
Yo,
as far as Jordan's go.
I just got to say he lost that game. I have to always contextualize it. Yo, he lost.
Robbie, I'm surprised you're giving any sort of love to Celtics anywhere for that. Man, I would have just ignored that.
LeBron 25 straight and they won. What's up? I'm just saying, like 63 and you got your ass beat. And that was like double overtime too. Took double overtime to get 63, something like that. LeBron 25 straight against the greatest defensive team ever. What's up?
Before. I got a random question. I don't know if anybody's answered this before. You think that LeBron is going to stay in the NBA long enough to play with his son?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
At least against his son. At least, yeah. Not so Karl Malone's old ass kept playing on like one knee and he still gave you 15 points. So LeBron's bigger, stronger, faster, and more talented than Karl Malone. So
the question is he going to be there when his grandson is ready to enter the league at this point? The way LeBron is just indestructible.
For real.
genetically
I mean,
engineered.
yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron can play
gotta-
forever. The problem with somebody that plays at LeBron's level is as soon as he feels that he falls off, he's not going to want to play. You know what I mean? Like once you start to
Yeah.
slip a little bit, it's tough to realize it. So, I mean, I think he will end up playing with his kid at some point, but I don't think it will be like a long time thing because, you know, it's just got to be really
He's
hard.
gonna
right?
throw him one
Like,
hoop.
it's gonna Bronny's gonna get some like Sports Center top 10 highlight film, and you're gonna see LeBron. And I took that personally. Like he's gonna pull an MJ and like just be pissed because now Bronny's outshining him, and eventually he'll just have to move to the bench and become a coach of some sort.
No, I mean LeBron's got that adamantium skeleton, as we're going back to the X-Men route. So there you go. But I think the commercial writes itself. He's going to throw him one oop. It's going to be picture perfect, and then he's going to be like, "I'm going to retire." Or if he does the heel turn, like you were saying, Nick, he's going to chase down, block his ass, and then send him to the bench for smoking weed while he was in the bubble. Anything's in play here.
I'm still scared of how much Bronny had changed in like 2 months of like seeing him and then seeing him again, kind of like what happened? Did you eat a cow? Just
Yeah.
I thought he ate Bryce at one point. I was like, "Where's Bryce?"
you seen him and it was like, oh my God, what happened? Like he's not a teenager. That's a grown man right there. Just different.
It's going to be special though when Bronny is doing the LeBron dunk and LeBron's in the foreground watching him. There's so many photos of people in the foreground watching LeBron dunk. Got to see LeBron James Jr. dunking with his father in the foreground. That'd be sick.
I need his training regimen and his food intake so I can get there.
Seriously.
Bro,
all right, so
machine and different genetics.
or like bro said, that adamantium,
LeBron, LeBron had himself cloned.
Right.
All right, so Robbie and Ro, what's your most disappointing Jordan 1 release of the year?
I kind of was like with you, Nick. I haven't been really a big Jordan 1 guy in the past, so it's always been a shoe that I will volunteer my services to be an extra raffle ticket or a meat shield, but nothing too disappointing for me. How about you, Robbie?
Meat shield. Man, it's the J Balvin. Like I'm not kidding. I saw Stanley post pictures, like detailed photos on his Instagram. I ain't get the fuck out of here. And I love Stanley. It's nothing on him. It's like I can't look at them.
Those shots.
They hurt. I want that shoe so bad. If someone can sell me that shoe for $400, I'll buy it off you right now. They're not going to sell it to me for that low, but I want that shoe bad.
I mean, so I think for me, it'd probably go back to like the New Beginnings release because I just would have liked to have both or either of those, and I think there's plenty of people that would appreciate, especially the Jordan 1. Like that colorway is just solid, right? And you haven't really had a chance at a colorway like that before, so. So how about like
hold on. Pause. Slam on brakes. You haven't you haven't had a chance for a colorway like that before. White, black, and red on a Jordan 1?
No. No. Like all red and white, right?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
I guess
Jordan
all white with red, right? No. I mean, I know it's just I know it's a Chicago colorway, but like that like specific like color blocking to me is like super, super dope. Like I might actually even like that better than the Chicago color blocking, which might sound blasphemous, but I said it.
I call it the UNC blocking. That's the UNC color blocking because you got UNC's black and whites and storm blues. I think.
Yep.
Don't quote me, but I think we got one pair that's going to be like that next year, maybe two. But it looks like both of them are going to be women's releases.
That doesn't help me out at all. So, all right. So if you had to break down, let's do it this way to wrap it up. If you had to break down 2020 on a scale of 1 to 10 for Jordan releases, what would it be? And also your 1, 2, or 3 top picks from the year.
Ooh, okay. Damn. I just did this. Hold on. I want to say I give them a 6. They did the best they could this year. And top releases, I can give you 6. I can give you the Jordan pack, the rookie pack, Biohacks, Fire Red 4s, Flint 13s, and the Women's Off Whites 4s. An honorable mention, the Fire Red 5s.
All right. Robbie, Ro?
I'd be playing myself if I didn't pick the 3 shoes I have in front of me here.
I'm just going to copy off of Robbie's swagger and style and say those 3 are pretty badass. And then just kind of thinking about it, I too just slipped on a release date, but I didn't think I was going to get a shot on them. The Air Jordan 1 Retro, the Chicagos, if they were also from this year. Apologies if they weren't. But those, in hindsight, are one where I'm like, I should have picked that up. But
Yo, Chicago's are wild because I got the 2016 pair from Nike Portland. I actually got them while waiting in line, where they've still let people wait in line in front of Nike Portland for retail. And now they're like $1,000, and mine are in immaculate shape. I need to flip those. I'm not
pristine.
gonna flip them. I met Tommy Wiseau from The Room wearing my Chicago ones. What's up? That's a random flex, but hi Mach. It's so funny. But no, when it comes to releases, I'm kind of on Kenneth's level. I'm thinking a 6, just because we didn't have any OG colorways released this year, right? Not one OG. The one.
Fire Red 4s, Fire Red 5s.
Just the one. I'm talking just One Life.
Oh,
There's
no.
One OG. And that's why I have to give it.
I mean, if you want to count the metallic black and golds, because that's a friends and family away from 85.
Not that. If you got to look at a catalog and.
I'm neither friend nor family, so no.
No. We haven't had an OG one release since 2017. So yeah, for 3 years now. I mean, if you want to count the 2001's pairs, because that's 19 years. They're 19 years old. No,
this is the closest. But
yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
The breads, man. I asked because if the breads would, I've never owned a pair of bread ones. That's like that's one of 4 Jordans I've never owned, where it's like, when it finally happens, I'll stop buying Jordans, period.
They'll be back soon.
You say that now.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, right.
We'll
say that now.
We'll get red ones before we get Chicago's again.
Better. That's the only one I'm missing. I got Shadows, Chicago's, Royals. I don't have the bread. So
sleeper pairs of the year, and I'm kind of upset people slept on these. The cement pack, the blue and red cement 3s that came out this year.
Hell yeah. I've been on that campaign all year. Every time I wear my red 3s, I'm like, you're playing your damn self. So you were born in 87. We all enjoy that Jordan era. If you would have told 10-year-old you that an all red pair of 3s was coming out, you would have lost your shit. And now when people see them in 2020, they're like, oh, it's not this, or it's not exclusive enough, or it's not, man, shut the fuck up. Like, that shoe is like fantasy shoe. And you're just too jaded.
Talk about it, Robbie. Shoot your shot.
The blue one too.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
The blue ones are whatever.
Yeah.
They're cool, but the red, I specifically thought, man, if they would have made an all red, thinking of the Dornbeckers, if they would have released an all red 3, or like the Toro, how popular the Toro 4 was. Why wasn't the Chicago 3 as popular as the Toro 4? Toro 4 is trash materials. Like, let's be real. It's like, I don't get it. That's a great shoe. So I'm happy you brought that up. I will keep on that campaign for another 2 weeks until the year's over. Then I'll retire it.
I mean, I think the sleeper for me was just because I wasn't paying enough attention to it and I didn't expect it. It was just that Zoom Crater colorway. Just looks. I mean, and I'm saying that because it's like raining and like nasty weather outside, and that's the type of shoe I would wear right now if I had it. But I mean,
and the laces are dope too. They got infrared laces.
Yep. I think you're spot on though, with like, on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 6 in terms of, at least in terms of Jordan 1s. Like, it just wasn't, there was a lot of stuff that was marginal, right? It was like, it was made for people that haven't really been crazy into sneakers for a long time, which, you know, inevitably it's interesting to me, I think, and to a lot of us, but it's like we talked about the Dior's and some of those like the black toe Chicago 1 mid, right? It's like, Yeah, I'd rather have something else. I'll just hold off and wait till the next time.
Compared to previous years, I mean, granted, like COVID, like sucked the life out of a lot of us. You know, no pun intended. God bless me. I'm so sorry, but like it really just dampened everything. So it's like when you have something to look forward to, and then it's not really like giving you the same feeling it did prior to being on lockdown and not being outside to really enjoy it. It's like, what more can you do? And then like, I don't know what y'all do for a living, like having like 1,000 Zoom meetings every fucking week, and
Yep.
you're just looking at boxes in the corner because it's like, damn, do I even need to open this right now? Like, I'm
Yep.
good. Like, I'm not going nowhere. So everything was lackluster. And then like, even just to think about like the amount of events that are usually placed on a lot of these capsules and activations, like that's
Yep.
missed. So the energy is not there for that. So it 6 is generous, honestly. Like
Yeah.
that's being generous, and that's with any brand, truthfully.
I
New
was gonna say, is
Balance,
that a 6
sorry,
with an
sorry.
asterisk?
New Balance said, "I don't give a fuck what you're feeling right now. We're coming still." And you
Yep.
see what I have on my chest. New Balance said, "Fuck what y'all are doing. I'm still coming."
Yep.
That's what she said.
All right.
Feelings.
So before we get out of here, Kenneth's got some stuff in the works that I think everybody's going to be excited about. So why don't you share with them some of the stuff you're working on?
So starting in January, I am covering Jordan 1 lows. We are going back to 85, and we will stop in 2020 since we'll be in 2021. I will be archiving everything. I will be sourcing pictures, all the info. I'm doing my work as far as digging in everything, and I am in talks with a bunch of developers into creating a website to house all this information. Because as of a few weeks ago, I have officially archived every Jordan 1 high, at least men's. Let me throw that in there. At least men's Jordan 1 highs from 2001 to 2019. Although I do have all the 2020s, I don't cover the year that we're in for obvious reasons. So that's
Cool.
on the wraps. I do have a few collaborations with smaller clothing brands coming. Uh, my home clothing brand that I work with religiously is run by my cousins. It's called Geekonomics. And outside of that, salute to my wife with I have the products here. Sorry, Earthy Notes. She creates home care products, soaps, body butters, oils, beard oils, and it's all about self care.
Nice.
Uh, Very affordable prices. Everything is organic and natural. So there's that. I had to make sure I shout my wife out, man. My wife has been doing tremendous during this whole ordeal. She had got her esthetician's license about 2 years ago. Had got a business space midway through 2019, and then when 2020 hit, she had to give all of that up, make a complete 180, and create a home business, and she did that. So salute to my wife.
That's dope.
Nice work, Mr. Unloved One.
Yeah. So yeah,
Right
man,
on.
working. I am
Yep.
trying to make sure everything happens. Salute to you guys. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I listen to you guys a lot. I can't tell you enough. I thank y'all for y'all history and y'all knowledge on everything that y'all do. Y'all are hands down one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. And Nick, come on, years of fucking work in the damn game. Your work
Thanks, man.
goes without saying. So it's always an honor to be able to talk to people who have a footprint and actual impact. I said that the last time I was on. Impact matters. So
Thanks, man. I definitely
for the
appreciate it.
media, when y'all ask me why don't you have a Jordan 1 and all this other shit, impact. When I make an impact, and MJ, when you get that head turn, who's that? Then I'll have one. Until then, I can't say I'm gonna get one. the people who have Jordan 1 collabs that are not as famous as y'all think they are or whatever, they've done something to make a footprint in whatever they're doing. That's why they got it. So salute to Frank, because pull strings to make sure things happen. He did that. The people that are up there now, they do have their eyes on me, but impact goes back to Nick. Impact, what people have done in this game matters. So again, hats off to you, man. Salute. Thank you.
Of course, man. Of course. Anytime. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Thanks for coming on, sharing. I mean, obviously this is going to be a really long episode, but I don't think anybody's going to hop off early because we had a pretty good conversation. So, anything else from Robbie? Rowett?
Lakers and foe.
All right. That said,
but hey, man, the whole league is scared. KD back.
Who's your pick then? Who do you have right now 10 days before the season starts, Kenneth?
Kings.
I'm
Kings
going
and
with
four.
Lakers. It's Lakers in the West, Brooklyn in the East.
Okay, so we got a Kings pick, we got a Lakers pick, and we got an Intercontinental. I'll go Lakers, but I'll say my surprise team is I think Golden State goes back to the conference finals. That boy has not played for a while, so I think he's ready to scorch the earth in a sense.
KD's back. LeBron never left. Oh.
Hey, and honestly, Lakers Nets in the finals would be perfect, right? Because as much as like I'm a Kings fan and I want my hometown to be seen, I think like as a whole, it's better for everyone when we have those massive markets battling each other in the finals. And next year, just looking forward to getting out of this whole COVID mess is going to be crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
Miami.
Oh, by the way,
Miami, Brooklyn,
go
conference finals.
Okay, you like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Mike just texted me. He says the San Antonio Spurs are going to make. I don't know about this, Mike. I think you're a little too crazy for this. Anyway.
Right on. Well, as always,
this was fun.
We appreciate it. Yeah. It's been dope to have you on, man. And I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do. I can speak for Mike too, since he kind of fell off. He had a power outage, but thanks for coming on and chopping it up with us. And obviously, thank you all for listening, watching, wherever you're taking this in. We appreciate you guys just spending time with us. And I think just to leave on a similar note to what Kenneth said earlier in this episode, you know, it's been a rough year for all of us, and we don't take for granted that you guys spend an hour or two or more of your week with us. And hopefully we give you a little bit of that escape from the just craziness that's been going on. And honestly, thank you for listening, because it gives us a reason to hop on here and escape from that craziness too. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So appreciate all of you rocking with us, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Peace.